So I found myself in a bit of an odd situation because I seem to have overlooked part of the scheduling of this trip. I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. After flying to San Jose for another Seattle Kraken game, the journey home began with a connecting flight that involved a bit of a booking oversight. This led to a chance to do some more exploring, with the hope of obtaining a new coaster credit, while taking in some breathtaking views and visiting sites of a famous restaurant chain. The morning after the Sharks-Kraken game, I'd be heading back home, but with a bit of odd routing, as rather than heading directly back to Seattle, I'd have a stop further south in Los Angeles, then head back north. It was nice though to get the complimentary upgrade thanks to my MVP status with Alaska. Flying further down California made for some phenomenal views of mountains and the coast on this short 40-minute trek. I was even able to spot a famous baseball stadium that currently sits on my to-do list. As I arrived to Los Angeles, I realized something about my connection that led to making some alternate plans. So I found myself in a bit of an odd situation because I seem to have overlooked part of the scheduling of this trip. I was under the understanding that my flight back home was going to be a little bit sooner. However, I totally forgot that part of the reason why this flight was so cheap is because of the gap in time. So rather than wait in line and possibly find out that there's not going to be a way to get home sooner, I thought maybe going to explore would be a better idea. Of course, having a car to get around with, it made it a lot easier to make up for the gap in between California visits because of the pandemic. Not saying that it was meant to be. I'm just saying. As I had a decent amount of time, I thought I might make a try for a coaster credit, as it was a bit out of the way from other locations in Southern California I'd be back for in the future. That ride would be the Mineshaft coaster at Big Bear Lake, one of the few mountain coasters located in the Golden State. To get there, I thought it would be neat to take a more scenic route on the Rim of the World Highway. This mountain highway offers some incredible views from the road and multiple places where you can pull off and just take it all in. Even though it was an elevation of over 5,000 feet, I wasn't expecting to see snow in these mountains. But there had been storms passing through the region the previous couple days before, and given the cooler temperatures and high precipitation, it shouldn't have been that surprising, but it did end up hindering this adventure. So unfortunately, I ran into a little bit of a dilemma because there's snow on the road here, and I got to a point where you have to have chains. With a rental car, don't exactly have chains. So I'm going to have to turn around and head back towards San Bernardino and see if I can get back on the main highway to get over to where I'm looking to go. It was a bit of a time killer to go back through the rim of the world highway in the other direction, but I eventually got back onto State Route 210 and worked my way over to 330 to try another option to get to Big Bear Lake. The only problem? That route also required chains. So unfortunately, that's going to dash my hopes of getting that mountain coaster up near Big Bear Lake, because with the requirement of chains, I kind of don't have them, and a lot of rental car companies don't like people using them. So we'll just have to save it for a summertime visit. But that means we've got a little bit more time to do some more exploring before heading back to the airport. Given my close proximity to San Bernardino, I took advantage of this to visit a place associated with a worldwide company. In town, you can visit the site of the world's first McDonald's, which today is occupied by a building that houses a free museum dedicated to the fast food chain. I remember spending so many hours in one of these things over my childhood when growing up in Seattle. And it's kind of funny to see it now because it doesn't look nearly as tall as it did back then. The outside of the building features a mural dedicated to the restaurant and its creators, the McDonald brothers. There's also a piece of the original flooring on display as well. Inside the museum, you'll find a huge collection of items on display, ranging from Happy Meal toys, uniform pieces, and other items that come from international locations. There's also a timeline display for the original restaurant location. While chatting with the museum employee on hand that day, he shared that you can still visit a special location of McDonald's over in Downey. This McDonald's opened in 1953 as the third location in the company's history and remains the oldest operating location in the world. While the current menu matches what you'd find at just about any other McDonald's restaurant, there is special signage sharing the difference between prices when this location first opened with more modern times, and the neighboring enclosed dining space offers a look into the history of the company with various memorabilia and a hall dedicated to Ray Kroc, the man who led to the franchising of McDonald's. It was neat to be here as the sun came down to see the signage come alive at night. After this short trip back through fast food time, the return home would be completed with a drive back to LAX to catch the flight to Seattle. And that was my quick trip to California to wrap up my 2021 travels. In comparison to years past, this one was filled with mainly short domestic journeys, but it also led to some great new experiences, whether it was the opening of a new coaster, taking part of a new coaster club, going to places with new travel companions, or attending the first game of a new hockey team. With the end of one year, though, comes the beginning of another, and the chance to add even more experiences, which I look forward to sharing with you all here on Coasting with Culture. Thank you for watching this Coasting with Culture video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.